The movie begins in a small forest town in India, home to a young boy known simply as Kid. He finds great joy in listening to his mother, Neela, as she tells him stories about Hanuman, the revered monkey god of Hindu mythology. One particular story fascinates him. When Hanuman was a child, he longed for a golden, radiant mango, only to discover that it was actually the sun. Enraged, the gods punished him by stripping him of his powers. Before we learn the rest of Hanuman's story, the narrative shifts to the future, where an adult Kid is engaged in a brutal fight at the Tiger Temple, an underground, blood-soaked boxing club. After being thrown out of the ring, the club's owner, Tiger, a foreign businessman, steps forward and makes one thing clear to his audience. In this place, they worship only one god, the Indian rupee. With that, he declares King Cobra, Kid's rival, the winner, while Kid heads to the locker room in defeat. As he cleans the blood off his face, memories of a fire and the man responsible for it flash through his mind. But he quickly shakes them off, unwilling to be consumed by the past. Tiger then approaches him with his earnings, only half of what Kid expected. When Kid protests, the foreigner coldly reminds him that he is paid for bleeding, and in his last fight, he didn't bleed enough. In response to Kid's desperation for money, Tiger mocks him, suggesting that he should dance like a monkey if he really wants to earn more. Later that night at a bar, Kid watches a news report about Baba Shakti, a local spiritual guru who is rapidly gaining political influence through religion. Many believe he's planning to run for president, backed by the Sovereign Party, a group notorious for its controversial land expropriations. Just then, an informant approaches Kid with valuable information: the itinerary of Queenie Kapoor, the powerful owner of Kings, an exclusive high society brothel. The next day, a seemingly blind and disabled man manages to steal Queenie's wallet. After passing through several hands, it finally reaches the person who orchestrated the theft, Kid. Now, armed with the perfect excuse, he enters the lavish king's brothel and offers to return the wallet in exchange for a job. She immediately rejects him, arguing that they do not hire people from the lower classes. However, she changes her mind when he reveals his burned hands, proof that he can withstand any pain. As he leaves Queenie's office, Kid notices a framed picture of her with R. Singh, a familiar face from his tragic past. Assigned to work in the brothel's kitchen, Kid soon meets Alfonso, a gangster who works for Queenie. He also witnesses firsthand how Queenie mistreats her prostitutes, treating them as commodities for her wealthiest clients. Beyond that, she is deeply entangled in the drug trade. Once he gathers enough money, Kid visits an arms dealer whose arsenal rivals that of John Wick. However, the protagonist opts for something more discreet and effective, a simple revolver. Seeking to earn Alfonso's trust, Kid invites him to one of his underground fights and advises him to bet on his opponent. During the match, Kid withstands brutal attacks. As blood drips from his wounds, he hallucinates, seeing the ghost of his mother in the crowd. Just as planned, he ultimately takes the fall, allowing Alfonso to win a fortune. In return, Alfonso promotes him to bartender at King's. Now in his new role, Kid observes the powerful and corrupt politicians of India indulging in their darkest vices within the brothel's walls. But his true goal remains unchanged. He must get close to R. Singh, who resides in the VIP lounge. The only problem? He needs a way in. For now, he has no choice but to blend into the brothel, though it becomes increasingly difficult. He can't stand witnessing these depraved men abusing the courtesans, especially Sita. No matter how much he tries to suppress his emotions, he is haunted by memories of his past. As a child, he watched in horror as a corrupt police squad, led by none other than R. Singh, massacred his village to seize the land for Baba Shakti's growing domain. Only one thing manages to bring him back to the present: an abandoned puppy in a back alley. While feeding it, Sita catches him off guard, warning him that if he can't handle what happens inside King's, he shouldn't be there at all. She also tells him to stop feeding the dog, warning that it will return every day for more. Ignoring her advice, Kid continues to care for and train the dog, all while perfecting his marksmanship by practicing on a street mural. Meanwhile, he maintains his cover as Monkey Man, the infamous fighter who never seems aims to win. Over time, the dog learns to sneak past security and deliver his revolver to the alley behind the brothel. Meanwhile, Kid finally gains access to the VIP lounge, distributing vials of cocaine as casually as if they were glasses of wine. Then, he spots him, Singh, the man who destroyed his life. Singh is groping Sita, completely oblivious to the storm brewing around him. Recalling the true purpose of his mission, Kid discreetly spikes Singh's cocaine with bleach. Within moments, Singh begins to feel sick and stumbles toward the bathroom. Kid follows, revolver in hand, ready to finally exact his revenge in his mother's name. But just as he prepares to pull the trigger, Singh seizes a moment of distraction, striking first, sparking a brutal struggle for the gun. As they grapple, a mobster caught in the middle attempts to snatch the weapon. Seizing the moment, Kid throws the man off balance, sending the gun tumbling directly into a toilet. Thinking fast, Kid grabs the toilet's flush chain and wraps it around Singh's neck, attempting to strangle him. But Singh's brute strength prevails. He slams Kid into the sinks with crushing force. Just when it seems like the end, Kid reaches down, pulls a concealed knife from his leg, and drives it into Singh's eye. With his enemy reeling in pain, Kid smashes the massive fish tank beside them, sending glass and water crashing to the floor. He prepares to escape through the window until Singh's reinforcements arrive, forcing him to fight his way out instead. Relying solely on his fists, Kid battles his way through the emergency stairwell. Once in the parking lot, he spots Alfonso's souped-up tuk-tuk and makes a break for it, grabbing Alfonso himself in the process. But there's no time to celebrate. The police are already in pursuit. Using his driving skills and the tuk-tuk's agility, Kid skillfully evades the patrol cars. But when a young girl suddenly appears in the middle of the road, he has no choice but to slam the brakes. The abrupt stop causes a patrol car to crash into his vehicle. Alfonso manages to escape, but Kid isn't so lucky. He is captured by the police. On the way to the station, however, he gathers strength from deep within. Realizing that his captors are Singh's corrupt henchmen, he shows no mercy, overpowering them and seizing a gun. He shoots them down without hesitation before leaping out of the moving vehicle to continue his escape. Unfortunately, his luck runs out when he stumbles into an underground brothel run by a psychotic pimp. The man wields an axe and launches into a frenzied attack, cutting down anyone who gets in his way. A vicious fight ensues. Kid eventually gains the upper hand, strangling his opponent with his own handcuffs, only to be interrupted by the arrival of the police, who immediately open fire. With bullets raining down, Kid flees across the rooftops of nearby buildings. But his escape is short-lived. A police sniper aboard a hovering helicopter takes a precise shot, striking him. His body goes limp as he plummets into the dark waters of the river below. As he hovers between life and death, memories of his childhood flood his mind. The peaceful days when he walked through the forest with his mother. Miraculously, he is pulled from the river by the women of a secluded temple dedicated to the Hindu deity Hanuman. After enduring a painful recovery, he finally awakens under the watchful gaze of Alpha, the temple's guardian. However, Alpha does not take credit for saving him. Instead, she believes the gods have granted him a second chance, for a reason yet to be revealed. When Kid attempts to leave, Alpha warns him that the temple is the only place where he will be safe. Just like him, the followers of Hanuman are being hunted by Baba Shakti's growing political forces. He is safe, similar to his situation. The followers of Arari are being persecuted by Shakti's growing political movement. Speaking of him after a public demonstration, Shakti receives a visit from Singh, who informs him that some nobody is interfering in their business. Nothing to worry about, though. Regardless, Shakti orders him to eliminate that nobody before he becomes somebody. Upon learning of Kid's childhood traumas, Alpha helps him face them once and for all, how any shaman would, using hallucinogenic powders. Before immersing himself in this experience, Alpha warns him that pain will leave him once it has taught him its lesson. Similar to Hanan's story, a crack opens in Kid's chest, or rather a window, a psychedelic landscape dominated by a golden, shiny circle, the sun that the monkey god devoured. Finally, the protagonist returns to the destruction of his village caused by Singh's men. Amidst the disaster, he sees Shakti protected in the comfort of his luxurious car. His mother then takes him in her arms and hides him in a secret compartment in their home. Moments later, Singh bursts in and tries to grope Neela, who scratches his face. As punishment, the policeman whips her and abuses her in front of Kid's despairing eyes. Afterwards, Singh gives the order to set the village on fire, including Neela. From his hiding place, the protagonist sees his box of matches bearing the king's symbol. When the fire begins to spread, he tries to rescue his mother, but the flames burn his hands. Recalling all this, Kid regrets having failed his mother, but Alpha believes he did the right thing. While Kid sees only his scars, Alpha sees a boy who fought until the very end to save his mother. His hands are those of a warrior destined to defy the gods. Following the rhythm of a temple drummer, he begins to hit a punching bag to regain his will to fight. His training sessions become more popular among the locals, and he ends up earning their admiration. At the same time, he keeps track of Shakti and Singh's movements, who have launched Yoshi, their puppet, as the presidential candidate of the Radical Sovereign Party. The ongoing violent demonstrations by this political party and the country's uncertain future only strengthen Kid, to the point that he destroys his punching bag. His crusade for vengeance started as something personal, but now the fate of India is at stake. Shortly after, a woman from the temple shows up severely injured, having confronted one of Singh's officers who tried to seize their territory. They do not intend to bow down, but neither do they have enough money to bribe the corrupt officers. Faced with this situation, Alpha assures them that God has a plan, and judging by his look, one might guess that plan involves Kid. With the rest of his savings, the fighter returns to Tiger Temple for one last dance with King Cobra, and this time, he bets on himself. He never won before because he never wanted to. Tiger tries to hide his astonishment and sends Baloo the bear into the ring, a hulk twice the protagonist's size. Taking his name very seriously, Kid replicates monkey movements to stand up to Baloo, who has a spiked bat provided by Tiger. Even so, Kid dodges him effortlessly and floors him with a brutal combo. Then, one of the spectators erupts in cheers, Alonzo, who has kept a low profile since the protagonist's arrest. Although the crowd demands more blood, Kid drops the bat, refusing to finish Baloo off. This further heightens the spectators' excitement, and they chant his name like never before, Monkey Man. Thanks to this epic victory, he earns enough money to save Alpha's temple. After modifying his mask, Kid shows up at the Diwali festival, brimming with frenzied followers celebrating Yoshi's victory for the Sovereign Party. Shakti and his associates celebrate like kings, while the protagonist takes out the guards at the entrance with his fists. It's only the beginning of what will be his toughest battle so far, though this time, he's not alone. He has the support of the temple women who are deadlier than they seem. Once at the elevator, he ruthlessly finishes off a couple of guards, biting down on the knife to cause them even more harm. Just then, he detonates the gas cylinder he left in the kitchen, throwing the Sovereign Party members at the brothel into chaos. Armed with fireworks, Kid reaches the section where he does what he does best, fight. When it seems he has defeated everyone, the elevator opens with another batch of enemies. Luckily, Alpha and the temple women arrive at that exact moment, ready for the most epic showdown in cinematic history. Standing on the bar, Kid takes out multiple foes, while the women unleash their fury like never before. Before reaching the VIP room, the protagonist faces an enraged Queenie wielding a pistol. Oh wait! Sita just took her out with a serving tray. Very delicately, Kid takes the tray from her and uses it to slice off one of Queenie's fingers. Upon reaching the VIP section, Singh greets him with punches, asking if Kid's mother sent him for more suffering. With his mother's memory always present, Kid launches himself to fight back, dodging Singh's blows with monkey-like agility and hitting him with the strength of a gorilla. With Singh on the ground, Kid grabs a high heel to keep attacking attacking him every time he tries to get up until Singh stops trying. He's dead. Using Queenie's severed finger, the protagonist gains access to the penthouse where his last target, Shakti, is hiding. The self-proclaimed prophet tries to calm him with a speech about ending the cycle of violence while pulling out a concealed blade in his shoe, stabbing the unsuspecting Kid. However, Kid manages to stop the other blade with his hand. After a tense struggle, he uses Shakti's own weapons to stab him. Gasping for air and drowning in his own blood, the false prophet begs for mercy. Only God can forgive you now. Thus ends Monkey Man's revenge. Now, only Kid remains, collapsing from his wounds. It is time for him to reunite with his mother. If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.